I started with Taima when he was 10 weeks old, and this is his 21st football season, so he's 20 years old this year.
A little bit more about Taima and how he ended up becoming the Seahawks flag mascot.
So we were asked to come and talk to the Seattle Seahawks about what would be the possibility of having a live hawk on game day as a mascot. And we didn't know what that meant. Nobody knew what that meant. But it was Paul Allen's idea, and he brought that up to his management, and they contacted me because I did a lot of professional stuff. I was a contractor out at Fairchild Air Force Base and McCord Air Force Base, and 6 other bases, doing flying falcons and running dogs to get rid of all the birds on the runway area. And they had heard, we had been on Discovery Channel and National Geographic, and they had heard about us, so they brought me in, and all along I kept thinking, well, at some point they're going to ask me, we've got this ring of fire, we want your hawk to fly through the ring of fire. If you can't do that, then we'll find somebody else that will. That was a dog and pony show, basically. But I was determined to come out and at least see the brand new stadium. This was 2003. and answer whatever questions they had. I was there for probably 2 hours before we decided to go in the office. And I was there with about 20 different suits, and they were all very interested in what I had to say, but I didn't know what they wanted. And so finally, Todd Leiweke, who was the president CEO at the time, he says, the boss, and he always referred to Paul Allen as the boss. He said, the boss wants us to have a live hawk on game day. And I thought, here's that ring of fire thing and flying through it. And then he says, we don't know what we want. We want you to tell us what you think you could do consistently on game days. I thought, maybe I'm not the smartest guy in the room, because it's genius to ask. At the time, I'm a leader in my field. I'm a professional. I know how to train birds. I know how to do this. And they weren't telling me what they wanted. So, I'm a sports guy. I know how cool hawks can be. I know how cool it is for that fly out and all that. And I said, let's go back out in the field. And we got out in the middle of the field. I'm looking at the cameras. I'm looking at the tunnel and the jumbotrons. And I said, what I want is turn that bass up in the stadium, and I want to hear a heartbeat. Boom, 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 boom. I want everybody to know that there's something alive in here. Then, with your fancy cameras, zoom right in on the eyes of the hawk in the tunnel with the smoke and fog and everything, and then have that hawk fly straight away right to me with the team running out. He's going to be the first hawk out of the tunnel. That's how you're going to start your games. And I said, I promise by the second game, when you hear that heartbeat with the bass, everybody's going to stand up and wait for their hawk to come flying out. And Todd goes, okay, we're done here. That's what I want. Well, it's never been done before. I didn't have the right hawk at the time, and I live in Spokane. I'm not moving. So as you can imagine what my telephone call was, my cell call to my wife as I was driving back over, she'll call me past, because I live in Spokane, what I told her I'd just done. And so we had to have a hawk that was non-indigenous, non-migratory to North America, so that a corporation wouldn't commercialize one of our own native birds. And so I search around. And so Taima is a auger hawk, A-U-G-U-R hawk, from Africa. Now, his parents were born in captivity. His grandparents were born in captivity. His great-grandparents were born in captivity. But he's non-indigenous, non-migratory to North America. And so I wanted something that was going to be fairly calm. I wanted a bird that was substantial in size so that anybody in the stadium could see him as he's flying. And we got him when he was 10 weeks old. And after all these years, and getting him trained up for the first year and a half, this is his 21st season. He's 20 years old. And he's still going strong. Been to the Super Bowls. He's got a Super Bowl ring. Somebody has to wear it for him too. But yeah.
He has his own Super Bowl ring?
Yeah.
Of course.
He flew at the Super Bowl that we won.
Absolutely. Obviously, he's an experienced veteran.
Yes.
What does it take to, obviously you're really experienced with training birds, what does it take to be able to train a bird in a really large, really excited crowd?
Well, you never know how it's going to go. How do you practice for 65, 70,000 screaming fans with pyrotechnics and cheerleaders with pom-poms, and the crowd is out of their mind at the moment that he has to fly. So that was the unknown. I've had birds of prey all my life, so I knew what I needed to do to at least get them calm. And so when I was a contractor out at Fairchild Air Force Base, out on the runway, I would bring him out there, and there's helicopters flying in Atlanta right next to us. There's touch and goes and aircraft, the KC-135s in the pattern all day long, and I made sure he had to look at all that all the time. My wife barrel raced and did, on horses, and I would take Taima to some horse events, or rodeos, and get right on the rail so that, he had to look at all this chaotic stuff. But we never knew until we get out there if he's going to do it. But it's a routine. Same thing with training dogs and cats, and I don't know about cats, but they respond really well with a routine. And a lot of people always wonder why he's not afraid, or he's not mean. Nobody's ever mean to him. Nobody ever does anything mean to him. So he doesn't expect anything bad to happen.
I was watching. He's really comfortable with all the kids that were petting him and excited about it.
Yeah.
He knows where the cameras are.
He always knows where the camera is.
What's kind of his, I'm sure you trained a lot of different birds. Is there anything that's unique about his personality?
He is such a great hawk for doing this in big crowds. He really is. And again, we thought we knew what we were doing. We picked this species and this bird, but you never know. And he's one of a kind. He really is. He's seen everything that could happen, and he's had a few little miscues here and there. But along the way, he smooths out, and he kind of just puts up with whatever is happening. Yeah.
I actually was at the preseason game last week. Got to see him in person. It looked like he got stuck in the net a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay?
He's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a little bit of miscommunication in the tunnel area. That's now fixed. But he got startled, and it was before he was supposed to go, and he never got the countdown, and people rushing past him, which never happens. And he kind of flew out of the tunnel looking back like, He never had a chance to see me out at the 50-yard line. So he made a loop. The kickers want to kick until the last possible second, until they get thrown off the field, because we're going to start. So they got to have the net up. And that's how he got stuck in the net. And I'm watching him, I go, all right. My wife, who released him, is running over there through the end zone. I'm at the 50-yard line, and I'm walking to him, and he's just holding on, knowing that, okay, my people are coming to get me. They lowered the net. He got on the... Yeah, no big deal. No blood, no foul. Yeah. Yeah. And then he flew fine last week. Yeah.
What are you guys most excited for about this season?
I think we've got a good team. I think what I'm excited for is there's a lot of talking heads thinking that the Seahawks are going to come fourth, last place in our division. All these other teams are better than us. I think we're going to surprise a lot of people. I think we're going to jump on a lot of other teams. And we're building something that really reminds me of the 2012, 2013 seasons, that our defense, and those guys are around. Legion of Boom, they are on the field with our new guys. Cam Chancellor, Richard Sherman, Clifford Averill, Bennett. There's a lot of players that are there working with these young players and talking to them and just letting them know the mentality that we know we want to have and how we want to approach the game. So I'm excited to prove a lot of people wrong this year.
Last question. Here at the Spokane-Indians out of Vinci Stadium, what does it mean for you guys to just come out here and support the community and kind of this partnership?
Oh, this is great. This is what we do. This is what we love to do. And to support the community here. Usually all my events are over across the Cascade Mountains. And to be able to, this is my town, this is where I live. And to be able to support our people here, that means everything to us. We get to make people happy. That's the best part of it too.
And then you said you live in Spokane. Do you guys live in Spokane and then travel to Spokane?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. For all these years. Since 2003.